Good evening and thank you for coming together for this beautiful evening. I think today is No Tobacco Day. So we wanted to send this message across our different communities that tobacco is bad for health. So today we're going to discuss not just about tobacco, but we're going to discuss a little about health. And I think we have a diverse expert panel on the stage. And I'm sure that we're going to take away something out of this today. But before everything, let me tell my own story with tobacco. This was long back when I was just 20 years and I just entered the hotel management school in Bangalore. So it was my first day, and as I walked in to the institute and into the hostel, they had a kind of a welcoming committee. The welcoming committee or a welcoming protocol, what they called, was nothing but ragging. So what they asked me to do was to stand on top of a stage, and they gave me a cigar, big cigar, and the senior guys told me, okay, you have to smoke the cigar. And till then, I never actually tried smoking, 20 years, weird, but I never tried smoking, and I didn't like the smell, first of all. But I had to do this, so I took a deep breath, and it was deeper than what I should have done, and I went into a fit of cough, and then it went into vomiting, and then I passed out, and I woke up in the emergency, and I was cursing myself, why did I come to Bangalore into the Institute of Hotel Management, very notorious those days, institute was, and I was cursing my seniors. But I think it was a blessing in disguise because I never touched a cigarette and I hated cigarettes from then on. The hate was so much that when we made these hotels, I said that though of course hoteliering means good liquor, good smoke, good food, but we took a very strong stance and said that all our hotels don't sell any tobacco and we don't have any smoking in any of our hotels. All our 22 hotels, there is no smoking. So that's one of the things, and we wanted to take this stand, and we also we were very happy at some point when this thing came that there should not be smoking anywhere. But I think smoking, like anything else, is a matter of choice. Okay? Everyone has choices in life, and it's a matter of choice. And choices obviously become, actions. You make a choice, and then it becomes an action. And these actions become habits, and these habits obviously become what you are. And I think it's very important that we teach the younger generations to choose well, because today there are so many choices. They can choose anything, and they can go. So this is what today's panel is going to talk about. And choices also are short-lived sometimes. Whenever I go on the 1st of Jan, I never get a treadmill in any of the gyms. And by February, the treadmill will be asking, where are the people who are running on my treadmills? So of course, there has to be consistency for this habit to form. So let's start with a light-hearted. So we're not going to, this is not a medical conference. All of you agree, no? So we're not going to talk just medical stuff. So we are also going to talk some fun stuff, and we're also going to find out more about our panelists, the celebrities on stage today. And we are blessed that we could get this panel together on the stage today. Very diverse panel, as you must have heard their introductions. Okay, so let me dive into it. So we'll just have an icebreaker round first, okay? So it's called the human side. We are from hospitality, so we always, even in the age of AI, we say the human is more important, okay? So this rule is simple, only quick answers, no long speeches. This is the only time tonight where there are no right or wrong answers, okay? So everyone everyone should answer this one, each question. Okay? So what is your biggest unhealthy weakness? Is it filter coffee, desserts, biryani, Netflix, reel scrolling, or midnight snacking? Mine, I confess, is reel scrolling and Netflix binging. What about you, Shiny? Netflix. Doom scrolling.
Actually, it was not in any of them. Mine is sweets.
Sweets? Oh, great. Desserts. I think you fall into that. Yeah. Great.
Same, deserts.
Wow, you don't look that way. What about you? Biryani. Oh, okay.
It's a no-brainer.
Accented, yeah. So, the second one, if health had a smell, what would it smell like?
What's your answer?
Mine would smell like seafood.
Mango.
Mango, wow.
Very good, sir.
I'm deciding between fruits versus egg.
Okay.
So, depending on whether you're a vegetarian or not.
Depending on the mood and your time of the day. Yes.
Yeah.
And Neville, you?
Salt.
Salt? Oh, wow. Okay. Salt has a smell? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Strawberries.
Strawberries, lovely.
So when you sweat,
Ah, okay. So that's what you mean. Okay.
so you get all your salt out.
So you now know Neville is kinky. He likes sweat. One more question. One thing you do that your patients, clients, or followers would be shocked to know.
I like crispy snacks.
Wow. That's a confession.
Same. I love fried foods.
Doctor.
I like to sleep as much as I can.
That's a good one. Okay.
Sleep again, yes.
Sleep?
Of course.
Okay. So let's get into some individual questions. Okay, Shiny. All of you know, I think you heard the formal introduction, but Shiny is very close to my heart. I'm one of her biggest fans, and she changed my life at one point. That's another story, another panel, another conference. But she changed my life at some point, and eternal gratitude for that, for her. And she has spent many years helping many such people. Okay, understand that one painful truth, that abs are not made in gym alone. They are mostly destroyed in the kitchen. So that's art of eating. Okay. So Shiny is one of India's leading sports and preventive nutritionists. She's also an author, entrepreneur, and the first Indian certified with a graduate diploma in sports nutrition by International Olympic Committee. I think that deserves an applause, right? I know she has worked with elite athletes, celebrities, and thousands of people trying to become healthier versions of themselves. And here is something many may not know. Nutritionists spend less time fighting food and more time fighting excuses, right? Because apparently every Indian family has at least one auntie who believes ghee can solve absolutely anything. Okay. So please welcome the wonderfully energetic and inspiring Shiny Surendran, please. So as a nutritionist, tell us honestly, have you ever hidden snacks from your own family?
No, that hasn't happened.
Okay,
Everything in moderation.
Okay, great.
Dark chocolates and the kind.
Great. Okay. So Dr. Ram Subramaniam, I think everyone must have heard his name during COVID and post-COVID. Any small fever, call Dr. Ram during COVID. I know, there are so many times during COVID, out of our hotels, we reached out to him. What patience you have, sir. So he's a doctor who spent 2 decades studying diseases most of us cannot even pronounce exactly. So he's one of India's leading infectious diseases specialists, a senior consultant at Apollo Hospitals, co-founder of Capstone Clinic, and someone who's deeply respected for combining clinical excellence with human empathy. And here is something people may not realize. Infectious disease doctors are a little like detectives. They solve mysteries where the villain is invisible. The clues are microscopic, and Google has already convinced the patient there are 6 different diseases. So please welcome Dr. Ram Subramaniam. So doctor, be honest, have you ever Googled your own symptoms and panicked?
There was once it happened. At that time, Google was not there. This was when I was doing, when I was in medical school over 35 years ago. And I had a bout of diarrhea with blood in my stools. And I really panicked. There was no Google available at that. This was the early 90s or late 80s. And I referred a lot of books at that time. So I decided it was just something they ate and had nothing to do with anything serious.
It's reassuring, we do it all the time, so even a doctor has done, so it's okay.
It's actually called a medical student syndrome. When you're studying medicine, you imagine a lot of them.
You feel that you have all the diseases in the books, yes. So as hoteliers also we do that, like when we learn cooking, we feel that we know all the things. How come? I mean, this one I know it, I know it, yeah. So then, of course, we have Naveel. Naveel and me go back a long time. A very inspiring gentleman. We collaborated for the first Dawn to Dusk marathon where he raised big funds for Cancer Institute, and he's a very kind-hearted, large-hearted man I've ever known. So, is a proof that some people simply refuse to age normally. I think looking at you. So while most of us celebrate surviving Monday mornings, Naveel celebrates things like running ultra marathons, cycling across countries, and voluntarily suffering for fun. So Naveel is an ultra endurance athlete, a world major marathon 6-star finisher, national rowing medalist, and a man behind Dawn to Dusk marathon, which has raised crores for underprivileged children. And here's something many people may not know. Naveel has completed the Paris Cycling Challenge. I think we were a small part in that with Radisson Hotels. A casual little 1,226 kilometer ride. I can't even imagine that. I can't even do that in a car. Ride completed in under 90 hours. 86 hours to be...
So the first time it happens 5 years once, and there's a selection process for that. I mean, not everybody can go and take part in this event, which is the 1,230 kilometers, and it's got a fixation time to finish, and you have to finish it in 90 hours time. And before you can get a berth or you get a ticket to go and take part, you have to first finish the events that is recognized and approved here in India. You have to do 200 kilometers, 400 kilometers, 300 kilometers, 400 kilometers, 600, and then the 1,000. So the 1,000 is, which happens generally in this month, in the May month, which is Chennai, Vijayawada, Chennai. You have to finish that in about 80 and odd hours. And so that's the selection process for you to go and take part in Paris. And I've not done it once, I've done it twice. So the first 5 years back, I did it in 94 hours. And after 5 years, again when I went back, I did it in 89 hours and 1 minute.
So I think you need to take out your shirt and show you're really human and not some Terminator or something.
So now it's going to happen again in next year. That's the next 5th year. So I'm hopefully getting ready to take part. And that's when we collaborated with Radisson Blue and the entire Indian fraternity team who went there to take part. We all stayed in Radisson Blue in Paris. So thank you so much. And the other thing that I wanted to say, more than the cycling part or the running part, it's all mind. You just have to make your mind, and you need to train accordingly for these big distances. So you start with 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers, and you just keep adding kilometers, and then you will complete your tasks.
You can't survive 90 minutes driving in OMR traffic and you're talking about. Okay. So during a marathon, has there been a moment when you questioned all your life choices? Must be, like at maybe 500 kilometer. Did I choose right?
So every marathon after I finish, which is the 42 kilometers, that I call it marathon. So every time I finish, I said, okay, it's enough. So like this, I've done for 72. I've done 72 marathons the last 13, 14
That
years.
needs an applause.
And every time I do this cycling also, the 200, 300, 400, 600 and the 1000, I've not done it just for the selection process. I've done it continuously for 13 years in a stretch. So every time I keep completing that, I keep telling enough, but I keep coming every year back. So it's a series. So to be a super analyst, you have to complete these 4 series, and this way I've done it for 13 years. So yeah, the mind will keep telling you enough, but it's up to you to again keep coming back.
I think very inspiring. Very inspiring. So Dr. Ajmal Dastigar, he's an ex-panelist, and the first time I saw his intro, it ran into 2 pages, and I felt very underachieved. After that, I mean, your thing is really great. I think what you have achieved. So he has worked across banking, finance, strategy, entrepreneurship, policy advisory, and he's also part of the sustainable development, which is very close to our heart as GReaT Hotels. He has advised institutions ranging from Ministry of MSME to NTPC and the National Dairy Development Board. He's also an entrepreneur, educator, founder of India's first AI pet healthcare startup. Wow. Which means even pets are now getting artificial intelligence before some of us fully understand our smartphones. I think you should tell us a little about it later. And there is something which was really truly inspiring. So through his CSR initiative, Arthral, is that correct? Arthral. So more than 180 underprivileged women battling breast and cervical cancer have received treatment and have survived.
So speaking about Artrel, so how the entire inspiration came about was when we went into government hospitals and we saw such underprivileged women coming there for treatment, and it's very sad to note the kind of cartel that operates in these government hospitals. So they wait and look for such victims, doctors here, I'm sure. So they wait and look for these kind of patients who come in, and they cannot afford even a consulting fee for a doctor. They come for free, treatment. But these cartels go to them and say that meeting this doctor is just impossible. There are already hundreds of patients waiting, and by the time you're going to meet this doctor, you're not going to live, and you're already facing death. And so it goes to the next level when they're not able to afford that kind of money. It goes to extortion, and it goes to also physical abuse. And this, I think, is a societal curse, taking undue advantage of a situation of a woman. It's probably the saddest thing that one could see in the society.
I think you've done a great job by getting all these people together and giving them help.
Right.
I think it's a fabulous thing. I think he deserves a big round of applause for that. So let's go on and let's have some more fun. No medical conference. Okay. So let's have some more fun. So I have some questions, Shiny. Just tell me one word answers, no explanations, okay? Just whatever's coming to your mind.
Yeah.
Okay? Sugar or tobacco, which is today's bigger hidden enemy?
Tobacco, passive smoking. But sugar is also equally bad.
So you can't decide.
I can't decide, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Cheat meal, yes or no?
No. Oh.
One superfood everyone should have.
Curd, fermented rice, buttermilk.
Fermented rice with buttermilk. Oh, that's a new one. Okay. Though it's a very traditional food, I think it's coming back, I think.
Yes.
Somebody told me the other day to freeze bread
Yes, the
and
resistant starch.
so that the glycemic index comes down. Those new stuff, yeah. One health myth that irritates you.
It could be anything from keto to intermittent to, misuse.
GLP now.
Oh, there's a doctor there. We were just discussing about GLP. Yes, GLP.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one food you would ban if you had magical powers. You would just take it away from the world.
Matcha.
The Japanese will hate you for that. Okay. So good. That was fun. So doctor, to you now. One health myth you hear too often.
People think that, let's talk about smoking, that smoking causes lung cancer. Smoking causes a lot more than lung cancer. They think that, if your lungs are fine, that's all fine. But almost 15, 20 different types of cancer in the body is caused by smoking. And it has other effects also. It's the leading cause for heart attacks. Okay. So that's something which is not mentioned.
So handshake or namaste for you?
Health-wise, namaste.
Okay. One medical word people Google and unnecessarily panic about. Other than COVID.
It's usually cancer, carcinoma, and you'll be surprised even biopsy. People think that when I say biopsy, they think it is, I'm suspecting a cancer. No. A biopsy is basically taking a tissue from anywhere to look and see whether it's an infection, it's whatever has happened. So it's just an investigative test, but biopsy has bad connotation. They immediately think of cancer.
One thing doctors wish patients did more often.
And trust in doctors.
Okay. One health test everyone should do regularly. Sugar test.
Blood sugar. In India, the capital of diabetes now probably coming close to overtaking China.
Yeah.
Sugar is something. We see patients becoming diabetics. Of course, we have diabetologists here.
Yeah.
Early 20s, they have diabetes.
And I think that leads to many, many more diseases.
Absolutely. And they don't realize it. So by the time they get to know, damage is already done. 5 years, 10 years time.
It's a message, guys. Get your sugar tested. So, Nabil, thanks, Doc, for that. Nabil, marathon or strength training?
Strength training.
The toughest thing, first 5 kilometers or the last 5?
Last 5.
Okay. One song on your running playlist?
All songs.
One, come on. We all want to follow that. We want to know how you do 1,000 kilometers run.
That's the reason I said all songs. You can't fix to one.
Okay. Morning run or evening run?
Both.
Both. Yeah. Run 1,000, I think you run for days. Not morning or evening. One word for discipline.
Mind.
Super. So Ajmal, for you, policy or people, where does change really start?
People.
Okay. So even if you have policy, if they don't follow it, I think it doesn't.
The world is an example. I think the policies can be there, but unless the change is within.
Super, yeah. So one quality every leader needs.
Integrity.
Super. One thing India is doing right in health awareness.
Digital empowerment. I think that's something which is catching up rapidly. The Ayushman Bharat scheme, digitalization of every citizen. And, that's something that is really catching up. I think doing very well.
One thing India should improve immediately.
Health-wise? PHCs at urban and rural areas, semi-urban and rural areas. The primary healthcare centers could be far more equipped with better healthcare facilities.
One word for the future of wellness.
A $10 trillion global economy, and I think that's already the future. AI wearables and anti-aging, skin longevity, whatnot. That's kind of the cellular level treatment and regeneration. I think that's something that is the order of the day, and you see clinics blooming all over. I think that's a huge market. So I think about a $7 trillion global market today, slated to be a $10 trillion market by 2029.
So that's very knowledgeable, and I think we got something out of it, right? though it was fun. We'll do another thing called myth or truth. Okay. So you have to just say myth or that's true. Okay. So I smoke only socially, so I'm safe.
It's a myth.
Everyone should answer that.
It's absolutely a myth. Even one cigarette is harm.
Okay. One cigarette a day does no harm.
Myth.
Absolutely.
Myth.
Vaping is healthier.
Myth.
Yes, vaping probably reduces the number of chemicals, but it has other, problems associated. So it's harm.
Myth.
Once lungs are damaged, recovery is impossible.
I would say it's a myth because functionally they can improve. I have seen patients during COVID whom, if you look at the CT scan, it's full of holes. There's hardly any lung left. I've had 2-3 young people there, early 30s. But after 5 years, they're not able to run fast, but they are having a perfectly normal life. People who are completely dependent on oxygen at that time. So the body's power of regenerating is phenomenal. It won't be normal, but it improves.
So the smokers still have hope.
Yes.
Exercise can reverse some smoking damage.
Maybe.
No, it does. It does. Exercise does help in improving, as I said, functionality and the ability to cope with activities.
What do you think, Nabil?
100%.
What
It
is
will
it?
help.
Myth or true?
No, it's true.
True. Okay. True. Okay. Stress causes smoking or smoking causes stress?
Stress causes smoking. It's all
Excuses.
Actually, stress causes smoking, and smoking causes
Stress.
stress.
Good one.
When you are stressed out, you want to have a distraction.
Yeah.
So you like to smoke, and you think it calms you down, which it does. It's short for a few minutes. And when the smoking effect wears off, the psychological addiction causes stress. So you want to reach out for others. So focus.
Nabil, you?
I
Have you ever smoked, Nabil?
Yes, I have.
See, true. So was it because of stress?
No. I smoke just to understand what the smoking is about when I was in school. It's not like I was a big smoker or I wanted to be smoking. I wanted to just try.
Why is it not clear, huh? The audience?
So I did try and then I didn't really like it. So there was no reason for me to continue with it.
So, Ajmal, what do you think? Stress causes smoking?
Yeah, so I think smoking is a habit that you start with, right? And habit becomes more, acute. You become addicted to it and leading to stress. For me, I think it starts with the habit, and that leads to stress. And you believe that to manage the stress, a smoke would help. So it's again a cycle in the reverse that Dr. said.
Okay, so we'll discuss a little later on how to avoid that. So, passive smoking is equally dangerous.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, all of them agreed on that. Okay, Shiny, now let's get into some more serious questions, not medical conference questions, but more fun questions. We have a very diverse audience today. No, can we clap for each other? I think it's a very diverse audience. So, I think in all walks of life, and I think the team has put together a fantastic guest list. Thanks for that, guys. Thanks. So, Shiny, people usually think of nutrition as what we eat. But in reality, health is also what we breathe, think, consume emotionally. So how does tobacco quietly disrupt this entire ecosystem?
See, have you seen when people stop smoking, they actually end up eating quite a lot. And a lot of people take up smoking because it hurts their appetite. So it's all quite interconnected, right? So I think it's, as you said, nutrition is not just about the food that one consumes, but also the information that you're taking in. We've seen when we work with a lot of clients, the mindset matters a lot. For example, if someone is struggling with sleep, you would say, give up that filter coffee that you're taking at 5 or 6 p.m. And it's a mindset that's going to make that switch, right? That paradigm shift is what is going to help them overcome the insomnia, which means they sleep better, they wake up early, they're able to show up at the gym also for a run or whatever. Now, if they're not ready to make that change, then it starts affecting. So I think mind, as Neville kept telling, it's about mind, mindset, and I think that's very, very important. Yes.
So I think we need to train the mind before we actually make any changes.
Yeah, the
Correct?
readiness to accept. Because there are times people want results, but when the suggestions are given, they don't want to. That happens all the time, and that's when we just get stuck.
So that's
And
what
it's
they say.
it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Doc, for you, as a doctor, you probably see the consequences after years of invisible damage. So, what is the one thing people underestimate most about tobacco?
Yeah, this is the same thing that I started. I said that people always look at smoking and cancer in the lung. You know, that is a commonest effect. And that has a linear relationship, which means the more cigarettes you smoke, the greater the risk of cancer. But we are not talking only about cancer. The carcinogens which you inhale in the cigarette can cause anything from cataract to cancers of the throat, pharynx, the esophagus of the food pipe, the stomach, the bladder, the women's genitalia. It's complete all through. You know, cancers are the occurrence of cancers in all organs is increased. Two, as I said, there is a relationship between smoking and heart disease, and this is not linear. In other words, it doesn't depend on the number of cigarettes you smoke. Even if you smoke 2 cigarettes a day, it increases the risk of heart attack, and that is one of the most important preventable causes of death in all developed countries. So, apart from heart attacks, it increases the atherosclerosis, we say, or cholesterol deposition in the blood vessels. It increases the risk of visual loss, certain macular degeneration, which affect the retina, can be due to smoking. It increases, problems with fertility. There's a whole host of other things which smoking causes. So it's just not, the number of cigarettes and the lung cancer. It has a whole system which problems.
Real villain, I think, tobacco. So, Neville, for you, as someone who pushes your body to its limits, what does every breath mean to you? I think it's very important for a runner or a person who's doing ultra marathoning. What does it mean to you? Little philosophical question, but I think it's very important.
I think without breathing, we can't do it. So breathing is so important. From my experience, if you can learn how to breathe it's a process. It makes things easier for you to achieve whatever you are trying to do. People say that from what I have read, learned, and through my experience, if your heart rate is lower comparatively, there is a process that you can live longer. So technically the breathing process here helps. So as you become fitter, as you become stronger, there is this tendency of living longer. So breathing definitely is something that I would say that you should learn to see how you can breathe lighter and in a manner of being fitter. So yeah, from what I know, like the swimmers, you may be the most strongest athlete, but if you put him in swimming and you ask him to do 100 meters, he won't be able to do because his breathing pattern is not right. So the breathing pattern is a must in anything you do. So technically, even while you work also, like if you're in a desk job and you get to hear a conversation or something that, jerks you off, if you have your breathing pattern right, you know how to come out of it. And I think, yes, the breathing pattern is
That's why I think yoga places so much of
Yes. So there's another thing that I wanted to elaborate since you have brought the word yoga. I also do yoga not because I like doing yoga for the aspect of mental health or just bringing peace. Yoga also helps on your recovery process of staying away from injuries and yes, this yoga that you do every day
also helps you to help your breathing technique right. So this is the reason why you say that if your breathing technique is right, you can stay longer.
Thank you. Ajmal, coming to you, work closely with the UN. So what efforts has the UN taken to bring tobacco consumption down globally, and has India aligned to it?
See, when it comes to health, UN straight away aligns with the WHO. And in 2007, India has aligned with the Tobacco Convention of the WHO, where from an Indian perspective, the Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Act of 2003 clearly, bans smoking in public areas, smoke-free areas. That is there, barring the designated areas for smoking, like that's there in the airports and the hotels. Otherwise, it's banned across. See, there are two things. I think from an Indian perspective, one is the lawmaking and its implementation. I think both are a leaking bucket, and which is a major problem. So you have such places which is smoke free. You're not supposed to be selling cigarettes to persons under the age of 18, but you have online sales. It's easily available on Zepto. You can order a cigarette on Zepto, and how do you know what the age of the person is? Advertisements are completely banned. Any sort of tobacco advertisements is completely banned. And coming to packaging, it's very clear mandate that pictorial representation of the packaging of the cigarette has to be with
Mukesh.
yeah. So that's what. So what we do is we go to a cinema theater and we see Mukesh and we laugh it out, and then we're okay with it. We just get going. Even if Mukesh himself is selling a cigarette, you say, okay, get well soon, brother, and you take a packet of cigarette. But that's the mindset that people are in, which unless you change that, lawmaking can keep happening, but implementation is something that we need to change internally.
So Shiny, I think I have a question for you. If someone stops smoking tomorrow morning, what are 3 foods and nutrition habits that can help reduce cravings and support recovery? I think it's important because we want people to stop smoking. So what are those things which they can do after they stop smoking?
Definitely hydration, because if they're not drinking adequate water, we all tend to, end up eating more. So I think hydration is one, considering also the weather here, right? And next is protein, because protein is something that's lacking big time. In fact, I was interacting with Dr. Prashant, the diabetologist here, and protein is something that is lacking big time. And we as a nation love carbohydrates so much, and we have children as young as 7 or 8 with pre-diabetes. That's what we are, that's what's staring at us. So that is one. And next thing is definitely making sure that they're getting enough fiber. Because a lot of people turn up with constipation as an issue, and also for cholesterol management and the blood sugar control, fiber is something. How many people actually eat 3 bowls of vegetables or 3 cups of vegetables?
So how to take a cigarette to the loo and then they don't have constipation?
So these are 3 things that I would focus on. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Doctor, post-COVID, I think we became much more conscious about lungs and immunity. I think all of us are doctorates. WhatsApp University actually educated us a lot. So what role does smoking play in weakening our body's defense systems? Like tomorrow, again, there is a COVID-like situation. God forbid, it's never there. But how do we make sure that our lungs are ready for that?
Smoking directly affects the air passages. So there are small hair-like structures inside the lining of your air passages called cilia. And these filter off all the particles and all that. So the smoking directly damages it. It damages the lining of the cells underneath, and it also damages the air sacs, what we call as alveoli. So there's a structural damage in all these things. And because the structural damage, the cells which are responsible for the immune defense in these areas are also destroyed. So most of the problems are smoking is to do with the immunity in the lungs. Smoking increases the risk of infections, viral infections, bacterial infections, pneumonias, tuberculosis. All of them can be affected, can have an increased incidence in people who smoke. So once you stop it, there is a slow regeneration. So the lung structure gets back to normal, but your risk of, say, lung cancer can be halved after 5 years, but you're still at risk of lung cancer even after 5 years of heavy smoking.
Can a common man measure his lungs?
You can do what is called a pulmonary function testing, but that is more to do with the capacity of your air passages. It need not be. There are so many factors which affect it, including pollution and other things. So you cannot directly correlate it with smoking.
So Neville, have you ever seen someone transform dramatically through movement or running after smoking, and then they stop it, and then they dramatically improve by taking up running or some other movement like rowing or something?
Yeah, I have witnessed, or I can see many, I can say many examples that I've seen people who were smokers and who actually had issues with their health and who took up sports. Maybe it could be any sport, running, cycling, and I've seen them doing extremely better than even a better common runner or a cyclist, because his willpower has made him more stronger, and also because he was a smoker or whatever habits he had, or maybe he had ailment, and when he has come back, his immunity level is more stronger. I feel somebody who has been affected with this process, when he takes up a new sport, he definitely does very well.
So Ajmal, I think you work a lot with policy making, with governments and things. So what role can workplaces and organizations play in creating healthier cultures? How can we make sure that at the workplace we are creating a better culture for people?
See, I think you answered it in the first place. I think all your hotels are smoke-free. You don't sell tobacco, and there are policies from the government, where you have to have this ban, smoking is banned, unless you have a designated spaces. But the point which is more important to notice here is how many of your policies, how many of your lawmaking that you do. I think the change has to be within. Unless you bring the change. Even God doesn't, change the condition of a person unless he decides to change himself. So this is the biggest problem. And across, if you see the kind of population that we have, passive smoking kills 1.6 million people in a year. So that's the kind of effect and impact we're seeing in the society. So unless, and you cannot be policing, you cannot be having a policeman for everyone who writes up the same. So the change has to be within, unless we do that. And coming back to your answer of corporates, see today I think that is a medical test that is done for any employee. If I have to go further and answer that. And I think we should have it more stringent in terms of, if you're a smoker or you're an alcoholic. You give it a thought.
Also, the leadership should, for example, live healthy so that the staff also get inspired. I think that's one of the things which we try and do, that all our leadership is also living healthy. If you are going to preach, you better practice.
Exactly. And even, for designated areas, I know there are offices like even Google and large corporates has it. And I happen to see this in one office where you have this designated area for smoking, and here are the dogs marking their territories. So, that's how it's looked at, it's something which is very different for people who are smokers. Smokers are
very interesting. How are we doing with the time? Are we okay, Brahma? 10 more minutes? Okay. So let's get also the audience. I think though very interesting from what you guys are saying. Let's also get a perspective from the audience. So anyone can get up and answer this one or two questions I'm going to ask. No medical conference answers, just we want fun, short answers. So knowledge about smoking risks has existed for decades. So why do intelligent people still smoke? Can someone answer this question for me? You can lift your hand and answer. There will be a mic which will be given to you.
It's a way of
doctors.
It's a way of pranayama.
It's a way of?
Pranayama. You breathe in and then you breathe out.
Okay. I didn't know that. It's a way of yoga, it says.
Vikram, they are married.
Okay. So, wives are the culprits. Okay. That's why they're intelligent people, I said. Anyone else wants to answer that?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
For youngsters.
Yeah.
Pressure and stress.
Very true. So I think we need to create an environment where people are not smoking so that they don't follow peers and then take up this thing.
Vikram, if I may sort of add, it's actually something called a cognitive bias. A cognitive bias is it's a systematic error in judgment which leads to ineffective behavior. We see this every day. You know that as you grow older, the chances that you're going to fall ill or die is high, but still you hesitate getting health insurance or life insurance. A lot of people, they don't think it as a priority to do it. We know that flu is rampant, COVID was rampant, but when you ask them to take vaccines, I'm fine, I don't need a vaccine, I'm healthy. It's an optimism bias which when
you're shutting off that.
Yes, so you like to frame it in a manner that is beneficial for you. It's an inherent human quality which affects, this is called a shortcut in thinking, it's called heuristics, where you think that, at this point, I don't need it, like that. When you know the defects of smoking, when the government portrays gory pictures on cigarette cases, you still find people smoking. Right? It is just a bias, it's an inherent bias.
But Dr. Kam, tell me, the other day I was seeing this Jim Fallon show, and I forget that guy's name, the 97-year-old celebrity. So Jim Fallon asked him, how many cigarettes do you smoking? Because he came smoking, and he says, I smoke 10 packets a day. So, and then he asked him, so what is your doctor said? He says, my doctor's dead. So how do some people just live through this entire thing?
So for every one person who lives through like that, there is another 10,000 people who are dying half his age. Which people don't want to see. You see something which is catchy and the immediate question when the answer people use, Churchill used to smoke so many cigarettes and he still lived over 90. But for every Winston Churchill, there are another 100,000 who are dying, which you don't see.
So please don't smoke.
Just to add, Vikram, I think what she said is so relevant. Today, social pressure is becoming a major cause of people who have not smoked in their life to begin smoking. And that's a FOMO. Right? You feel you're left out. So what happens in your corporate world? You have a break at 7 o'clock. All you need is chai sukha. And you're not part of the gang. Just the fear of missing out. You want to join the gang and go for a smoke. So I know this lady who never used to be a smoker, and suddenly she starts smoking, a socialite, and she doesn't take the smoke inside, right? And when asked, she said, "See, the damage is only when you take the smoke inside." So there's another colleague of hers said, "She's okay up to oral dance."
So I used to do that after watching Superstars movie. We take a cigarette, not smoking, and just smoking. Yeah, correct. Yeah, Anand, you had something.
See, the other aspect.
Can you just reach a mic? I think. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. The other aspect which I have experienced is the friendship, close circle, and environment, which also tends to promote smoking. So I've traveled all across India quite frequently, and I have always observed people in West Bengal, they smoke quite a lot. Whether it's a doctor's conference, the first person who will pick up a cigarette in the break will be the doctors.
So state-wise.
Yeah, so I find phenomenal smokers in West Bengal. And whether it is a fashion or if you don't smoke, are you going to be, out of the gang? Or, I find that something in that. I mean, at all ages, they keep smoking. And there is something to do with West Bengal. But basically, we have seen that if you're in the right company, it can help you to avoid smoking.
So that leads me to the next question to any one of you. If any of you had just 30 seconds with a teenager before they picked up their first cigarette, what would you tell them? Just a small message, what would you tell them? I think Prashant, doctor, you want? Yeah, you? Yeah? Yeah.
As a mother of two proud sons and responsible sons, I would say that, I would advise them and inculcate social responsibility in them. My children also, both my sons are there, the group, their friends smoke. But both of them don't smoke. They in the same gang. They don't consume alcohol.
But did you tell them something, or that was a choice?
Inculcate social responsibility at a very young age. So here, school plays a very important role in saying what is right, what is so. If you are responsible right from the PKG, you go the seed and get love.
Do any of you disagree with her? Prashant?
This is not to disagree with her. I didn't got it because you asked me that question.
Okay.
So, yeah, if I get 30 seconds with somebody, I would tell them, you try it, and then if you do not like it, you don't have to take it. And you don't really have to take it just because your friends are really taking it. And that's the best way to do it, because if you starting itself tell him, do not take it, it's going to be always in the mind that he really wants to do it. So, first thing I tell him is, try it. If you do not like it, leave it.
And if he likes it?
That's the second. So if he likes it, even if you don't tell him, he's going to do it. He's any other way, he's going to do it. He's anyway going to do it.
Yeah, I go.
Okay. I think we have much more time after this. We just finished with them. So I think there's a lot of things about health span, lifespan kind of a thing. So just closing one statement. Health is not about living longer. Health is about
Healthy. It's not about living longer, but
health is about what?
it's about being mindful in
Mindful.
every aspect. Yeah.
Super.
Making decisions with awareness.
Okay, super. Doctor?
Health is about living happy. Which means both mental happiness and physical happiness. So you will not be happy if you are in pain. So,
Super. Thanks.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
To me, health is about God consciousness. The minute God consciousness sets in, you have a right over your body. And the minute God consciousness sets in, you will not do that harm to your body.
So spirituality is a way to live.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Good one. Okay, thank you so much. I'm sure we had a fantastic interaction with a diverse panel, and they brought in different viewpoints on whatever we spoke about. Though it's not a very serious, very kind of a medical kind of a thing, but I think still we can take something out of whatever we spoke today. As GReaT Hotels, we are very committed to health as wellness. Okay, so we call it the great being, like well-being. We call it the great being, and then we have this no smoking. None of our hotels have this smoking, and we make sure we have 9 pillars where we really mean everything what we speak about wellness. From sleep, we curate our mattresses, we curate magnesium gummies in the evening instead of chocolates as turned down. So we do a lot of stuff. Nutrition, we do a lot of stuff. We do exercise, we do touch, social gatherings. I think it's a path to well-being also. So I think we do a lot in getting people together, getting them to make friends, and also touch through our spas. We do a lot of those stuff. I think wellness is something which is personal, but it's also something which I think all of us should embrace. And I wish that our country becomes healthier and healthier in the future decades. Thank you so much for coming together for this. And now we look forward to also Asif taking over the stage and doing some good, fun quiz with all of us. Actually, we are streaming this to all our 22 hotels, 23 locations across. So a lot of people are looking at this. It's not only these people in the room, okay? And they're all also waiting for Asif's quiz. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So we would like to present a small token of our appreciation to our wonderful panelists Let's have a round of applause.
Ready? Thank you.
Ms. Shiny Surendran, please welcome our
Something
token of thank you and gratitude.
When we do this in all our tests, so it's part of our wellness. And this is some nice awareness.
Dr. Rahul Subramaniam, please accept our token of gratitude. Yeah, I think that's a good solution. Mr. Neville, thank you so much for joining us today. Dr. Ajmal Dastagir. Thank you.
Wait. There's one thing I want to say before we move on for dinner. There's a study in the Harvard University, which I also mentioned at the UN in New York. I got an opportunity to speak on education. Since we're talking about health and fitness and not medical, over a study of 85 years, the statistics, you know what gives a man, a human being, happiness? Number one in the list. First one is health. If health is lost, everything fails. Everything fails. Second, can anyone guess? Social connections and relationships. And then comes your money, your fame, your everything else. Sorry? Wife, there's no record. Wait enough. So health, relationships, and both of that, the champion who promotes that is Vikram Coach. What are you doing? So let's promote some health by having some healthy food and good relationships. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, to conclude, I would like to invite Ms. Shubhangi, Vice President of Sales and Marketing, to give the word of thanks.
A heartfelt thank you to our esteemed panelists for making this great conversation on well-being such a meaningful and inspiring session. Your valuable insights, perspectives, and engaging discussions on wellness and conscious living truly resonated with everyone present and made this evening impactful. A special note of appreciation to Mr. Vikram Kota for seamlessly moderating the conversation and guiding the discussion so thoughtfully, making the session engaging and insightful throughout. We also extend a sincere appreciation to Nawabzada Asif Ali for conducting an energetic and interactive quiz that added excitement and enthusiasm to this evening. A heartfelt thank to all our guests, associates, and teams across the hotels for their enthusiastic participation and support for making this initiative a memorable success and in the lead-up of the World No Tobacco Day. Here's to many more conversations and inspiring for healthier, happier, and more impactful mindful living. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.